Mike and Glenn were podcast hosts, and they wanted to celebrate Christmas, so they started watching Christmas movies for their podcast. The following podcast contains spoilers for The Holiday. You have been warned.
No, I want an officer red undercover knife and 200 cal rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les. Put that cookie down now!
Yes, this Christmas music. It's joyful and triumphant.
Welcome everybody to another year of snowy season wonder, where two gentlemen, one being named Glenjamin Button and the other one Miguel Magusto, where they fall in love but also talk about movies. Welcome everybody.
Welcome.
To KFR News Radio.
Yay.
That was weird.
That was weird. How you doing?
I'm not bad, buddy. We're rearing to the holidays.
Yeah.
We're getting
very
there.
close.
It's a very exciting time where I just happen to be more broke than usual, which is a fantastic thing.
Oh, we are house poor at the moment because we just bought a house, so we went from having all this savings to having like no savings.
Well, the good news is you have a child so young that you don't really have to give them gifts right away.
yeah, I'm glad about that. So.
Yeah.
But what have you been up to this week? Have you watched any movies?
I explored my boundaries a little bit. You kind of know this one briefly. I watched a little musical today.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
but earlier this week.
Yeah.
Called Tick Tick Boom. And It's got Andrew Garfield in it, and it's the guy who wrote here, like, did a playwright for a movie that I can't remember
Rent.
already. Was it Rent? And he did like one in the movie called Suspiria or something like that. I'm sorry, I watched the movie, but I had fun with it, but I wasn't paying attention that hard. I'll be honest. It was a fun little movie. It was the
one he's known for is Rent, I believe. I could be wrong. That's just what I heard.
But again, I wasn't paying attention enough. Just put on a movie that I thought would be fun. And, of course, this was very fun. Andrew Garfield was great, and so was everybody else.
Yeah.
Even Vanessa Hudgens was in there for quite a little tad, and that took me by surprise because I haven't seen her in a movie in a minute at least. My eyes. After that, we watched Come On, Come On, which we will talk about in just a second. And me and a couple buddies went to go see Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which I have a review for. I gotta sit down and edit it. It's a ranty one. It's interesting movie.
I will be steering clear of that one. I was planning on it, and then you text me about it, and I won't say anything, but I am definitely not watching it.
Good.
Yes.
But other than that, obviously we watched The Holiday, which we will get into in just a sec. But what did you do, you silly goose?
So I'm continuing my preparation for the series I'm going to start next year on the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. So I've been trying to watch some of those movies. The first one I watched was Ivan the Terrible Part 1. It is a Russian film, obviously, directed by Sergei Eisenstein. I believe his name's Sergei. Let me double check that. But he's the guy. He's the director of Battleship Potemkin, which I know I made you watch. Yeah, Sergei Eisenstein.
Early in my movie career.
Yes. So it's he's one of those like OG film directors, and of course he was in the Soviet Union. So this was good but boring, if that makes sense. Like, if you don't care about history, you're not going to care about it. If you want something like super action packed, you're not going to like it. There's like one scene that has a little bit of action. But then I watched the sequel because they're both on the 1001 Movies You Must Watch Before You Die, called Ivan the Terrible Part 2, The Boyer's Plot. Of course, this is about Ivan the Terrible, which is the first Tsar of Russia, I believe. I could be wrong. This one was a lot better. It was a lot more intense, a lot more inspired, to use a pretentious term like that. It was more interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
Much better. Apparently, this one was banned in Russia by Stalin because he thought it made Ivan the Terrible look too crazy.
But he was crazy, yes.
Yeah, he was crazy, but it was supposed to be communist propaganda.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, and apparently he made it not well enough to Stalin's liking, and then so it was released, even though it was made around the same time. It was released 14 years later, after Eisenstein had died, so he didn't even get to see the release of it. And they had started filming a third version before Stalin banned the second part.
Yeah.
So there's like part of a part 3. It's a very interesting story behind. It's one of those things where like the story behind it is more interesting than the story itself. The film that is. But yeah. Those were both pretty interesting. Then I watched Come On, Come On. We have a review for that on the YouTube. Check that out. Then I watched The Holiday. We'll get to in a minute. And then for 1001 Movies You Must Watch Before You Die, I rewatched Fight Club because that came up on my random number generator. And yeah, I've seen it. I like it. I just enjoyed it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. So without any further ado, let's get into your pick, The Holiday.
Yes.
Iris and Amanda are in exactly the same place.
Where do I want to go? By myself? Depressed at Christmas.
Just 6,000 miles apart.
Home exchange. We switch houses, cars, everything. Bingo. I need you to answer this.
Are there any men in your town?
Perfect.
We're on our way to New Zealand.
I'm here. I'm here.
As one door closes,
That'll be interesting.
another one opens.
Two women troubled with guy problems swap home in each other's countries, where they each meet a local guy and fall in love. Directed by Nancy Myers, also written by her, stars Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, and Jack Black, with a nice little... is it Wallach? Eli Wallach or Wallach?
I believe it's Wallach. I could be wrong. I'm not.
I could be wronger, because honestly,
Yeah.
I'm bad with names. It's not even funny. But yeah, this was a movie that I have known about, and it was against the line for my pick there on what movie I was going to pick for this week. Between that and what was it, Love Actually, or whatever it's called?
Yeah, it was Love Actually.
These two. The only main reason I wanted to see this was because of Jack Black, because he's going to be a cute little time.
Absolutely.
Just a handsome little funny bubble that guy is. But yeah, so this wasn't very Christmassy at all. I guess I didn't know what I expected when I figured out that it took place mostly in California.
It's slightly more Christmassy than Die Hard.
Yeah.
Whereas it takes place around Christmas. There's Christmas-esque things going on. There's a Hanukkah party and everything. All about the holidays. So last week when you brought that up, I said that it is better than you would expect, which was true for the first time I watched it. But
I already forgot that you watched it the first time.
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
second time I watched it, which was this time, it was worse than I was expecting.
Interesting.
It was hard for me to get through this second time, maybe because I wasn't in the right mood or anything, but it was an absolute cringe fest for me.
Yeah.
For those who listen to our podcast often, I don't really do romance in movies very much because I think it's all fake. It's all overly stylized and overly exaggerated. I like the romantic movies that are like more realistic and down to earth.
Yeah, I like what you said there with the over exaggerated, because this definitely is in a lot of parts over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Specifically with Cameron Diaz's parts. But she's also that over exaggerated actor when it comes to those types of roles too.
Yeah.
She really knows how to do that. Yeah, it's really sold that part for sure.
Absolutely. Now that's as far as rom-coms go, that aren't the kind, like the understated ones that I like. It's fine. It's an okay movie. I don't hate it. I don't wish I never watched it. It's just, I was fine watching it once. I was pleasantly surprised watching it once, and watching it a second time, I was like, oh, yeah, this is definitely not my style.
Yeah.
I was kinder to it before because, you know, I was watching it with Caitlin, and, you know, I didn't want to watch it, but I tried to enjoy it. This one, I was watching it with the eyes of a critic, because, you know, we were going to talk about it.
Of course.
So yeah, it hurt me. I was cringing so much. I watched it again with Caitlin because she loves this movie, and it was every 5 minutes I was just like, oh god.
Well, I definitely think watching it the first time was... What the fuck? That was weird. I definitely think watching it the first time for you was probably how I feel now. It was definitely bearable. There was parts I enjoyed it more than the average rom-com for sure. Especially there's a bunch of like themes and moments in this where it's much better than the average rom-com or such.
Yeah.
But then it gets overwhelmed by itself when it becomes another rom-com and such. Yeah. That's kind of it's where it kind of drags itself down. Is just those moments where it's like, oh, this could be getting into something good, and then it's boom, rom-com moment where just like something stupid happens that wouldn't actually happen or something like that.
Well, it's really
or people overly expressing themselves when they definitely wouldn't in real life or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know these people. Who am I?
Yeah. It's really just like a tale of two movies, really, because obviously the whole plot of it is that they swap houses, so they have their own stories going on. Jude Law and Cameron Diaz is more your standard rom-com where like they have sex right away, and then they try to like navigate that awkwardness of that part of the relationship. You know, something you would see in the Hallmark Channel, sans sex, obviously,
of course,
because they don't do that on the Hallmark Channel. But
swap it out with a story of like your land is on my land and we have to fight over it or something like that.
Yeah, it was very, very cringy. But then with the Jack Black, Kate Winslet one, you know, it wasn't even a romance movie until maybe the last 20 minutes of the movie. They were just friends. They were enjoying hanging out with each other. They were both focused on Eli Wallach's character and trying to honor him and his writing career. And then, of course, when they're at the Blockbuster, Jack Black sees that his girlfriend is cheating on him and has been lying to him and everything. And that's when it starts to become a romance. That one I liked a lot more. If it was a movie just about that, I think I would have liked it even more. But the Cameron Diaz, Jude Law one just kills it for me. That one's way more cliche with, like, you know, the slapstick, oh, I'm clumsy because he's so hot kind of shit.
Yeah. That one's definitely cringy in the first half. It did pick itself up when Cameron Diaz found out that Jude Law actually was a widow and had kids. It definitely picked up and became more of a wholesome story than the stupid, you know, slop fest that we had there for, you know, the typical rom-com. But for sure, Kate Winslet and Jack Black's story was a much better one because it was just it was like a tale of just two people in the same technical circumstance, and you know, and Kate Winslet kind of is going through and had gone through what Jack Black is about to go through and will get through, which was really cool, and just her, you know, was not even romanticizing anything and just hanging out with a really old neighbor and stuff like that was really cool for sure.
Yeah, it felt more natural, their story, and less forced. And you know, that's not to say that like the Jude Law and Cameron Diaz one doesn't have its merits. It's just it's more tropey and by the books. Overall, everyone in this does a solid job. You know, they're all great actors. There's no doubt about that. And you know, this story was written for all four of them. They were all like the first choices for it.
Oh, nice.
So you know, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
When we get down to it, it's
understandable.
Yeah, it's I think it's a little. The humor in it is too forced. If the humor was more natural, I think I would like again. I know we're like talking up Jack Black and everything, but he's great. His humor in it is like you could tell he improvised some stuff. It's more.
I definitely would have loved to see more too.
Yes, I agree. But with him being the only like known comedic actor in this, I feel like that was a brave move for a rom-com. But
I think do you think the boob grace thing was an improvised thing and they just went with it? He's like, boob grace, didn't mean it, and then
it probably was. Watching this with Caitlin was kind of funny because she was kind of starting to watch it through my eyes. The first part of this is, she loves this movie. She knows, and this was like the first time she was just like, how do Sophie and Olivia have their own contacts in his phone?
I wanted to get to that point because that pissed me off so much.
They're like 6 years old.
They're
it's
6
well
years old.
Before
That means they would have to have their own cell phones.
Yeah, exactly. And it's well before cell phones were like it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
they're a wealthy family, but it's before cell phones were like a big deal. Yeah. It was 2006,
But they were also like 7 years old.
Yeah, hell, I think I got a cell phone in 2006. I got a cell phone when I was I got one in 2004.
I didn't get one until 2008 or 9.
Yeah, I got one in 2000.
And that was only because I was 16 and working.
Yeah. But that happened, and she was just like, "Why do they have both? They both have phones." I'm like, "Oh," and not remembering that they're like 6 or 7 or 4 or however old they are. I was like, "Oh, they're probably rich, probably get their teenagers phones if they're rich."
It would definitely make more sense now for sure.
Yeah. And then when I saw her the first one, I think Sophie comes to the door first.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, she's way too young to have a phone. 100%. What the fuck are you doing, Jude Law?" But yeah, I thought that was just funny that she started to watch that. And another thing, I love it when she watches things through my eyes because she sees like she words them in ways that is just like I know they're tropes, but I would have never thought to word it. Like when Cameron Diaz decides to go back to Jude Law at the end, and she tells the driver to stop because he's driving too slow. She's just like, there's no fucking way you're gonna run faster than a car's gonna go.
No, it just was that dramatic moment where it's like the typical rom-com thing.
And I turned to her, I was like, this is why they always have it in New York City, because it makes sense when there's traffic. It doesn't make sense when it's just snowy roads.
No, because he's like, or she was like, can you drive any faster? And the first thing that popped in my head, do you want to die? It was like snowy roads, like actually like he even turned around in a really snowy parking lot and everything was skidding out. She's like, drive faster. And then she's like, you know what? Just stop. It was so stupid.
Yeah, Nancy Meyers, she's kind of known for directing these kinds of movies, so it's what I expected essentially. She's known for like the remake of The Parent Trap, What Women Want, Something's Got to Give. It's complicated movies like that. Intern.
All her other movie posters look exactly the same too.
Yeah, they're all white. They all have gold font or black font or both.
And just the actors' faces looking at each other or away from each other or down.
Yeah, she's made a career. Oh, she's from Philly too, so
Hey, a little bit of respect.
Good on her.
Yeah. Hey.
How about them Johns and cheesesteaks and whatnot?
You make a good John.
You make a good John. Gritty forever.
I think the worst thing that I felt for this movie was the parts where Cameron Diaz's character is just either sitting there or is like imagining something, and she's got work stuck in her head where she hears the movie trailer guy and then like pictures it in her head where she's like her life is a trailer. I think that was down to be the worst part of the movie.
Absolutely. It did not fit with the style. It was it was always out of nowhere. Like, I get what they were trying to do. I think they failed miserably. So yeah, I'm with you on that. It was a horrible decision, and I cringed every time it happened. And honestly, whoever came up with that, probably Nancy Meyers, should be in jail.
I don't know. This movie, I realized, was a very movie-fied and very Hollywood rom-com.
Yeah.
Just from the fact that they're always talking about movies. The old man was for the Writers Guild or something like that. And, obviously Cameron Diaz's character makes trailers for a living.
Jack Black's a composer.
Yep, he's a composer. They even talk about Hans Zimmer, and he does the score for this movie.
Yeah.
It's very, very Hollywood rom-com.
Dustin Hoffman has a cameo as himself, which apparently I was reading the trivia for this to try to think of something to say, and apparently he did not. That was not planned. He saw that they were shooting. Saw that he recognized someone on the set as he passed that blockbuster.
Yeah.
And was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in and be Dustin Hoffman." And then they came up with that idea. While
Honestly,
it was funny.
That is kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a good little note. At first, I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny if he did just walk on set and was like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah. Exactly.
But for the most part, I'm glad I finally did watch this, and I enjoyed a lot of the tones and, themes in the movie. Like, for sure, I think, obviously, I said earlier with Kate Winslet and Jack Black's story, like, that was a good story.
Yeah.
It just kind of had little inklings of weird in it sometimes. And then Jude Law and Cameron Diaz's did get better towards the end, but
it started off
one
horrible,
was
though.
too rom-commy, too, like, basic, shall I say. It was if it either followed one or maybe the other, but not as like drowned in like love me and chocolates and shit, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But I wasn't exactly disappointed in it though either. Like I was surprised, as you would say. But I don't know.
It's a fine
if I'd be
movie.
like you, where I'd get suckered into watching it twice.
Yeah, I did get suckered into that.
You did.
It is. It knows what it is. It knows its audience. I am not that audience, but for what it's worth, it's a fine movie. I don't hate its existence. I don't dislike that I had to watch it twice. I just cringed a lot when I watched it twice. So yeah, I'm. It could have been worse. There could have been like a Christmas edition of Pink Flamingo or something.
Oh God! When you try to forget a movie, it reels itself back in.
It does. It really does. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything more to say about it. It's a very by the books rom-com, with some good things, but mostly not because it's not my shtick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I guess without any further ado, we should get into the judgment for this. As always, it has to be a unanimous decision whether or not this becomes a shelf boy with the likes of Apostle or Handmaiden. Glenn, you picked this godforsaken movie. So that means you decide first if it goes on the shelf or not.
As I was saying, I did enjoy it. And as far as rom-coms goes, this is probably one of the better ones that I have seen. It's not above like a... What is it, About Time or things like that, or the Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan movies, shall I say? For some reason I'm brain farting, but that's just Glenn moment.
Yeah.
But sadly, sorry ladies, or gentlemen as well. This isn't going to be on the shelf. It's a fun time, but not a good time.
I agree. It is. There's nothing about it that sticks out to me. It is what it is. Probably 5 years from now.
Definitely could have used more Jack Black improv. That's all.
Absolutely. I agree. Maybe 10 years from now, I'll forget everything except for the fact that Cameron Diaz works on movie trailers again. Well, yeah, we'll see. Probably not. I hope not. I hope not.
I do want to say, it was nice seeing baby Krasinski and a young Catherine Hahn in this. Yes. I don't think I've seen a Catherine Hahn movie where she was this young.
This is pretty close to around Step Brothers, isn't it? Maybe
is
2 years. Maybe 2 years off of Step Brothers. But it's about that around that time. But yes, The Holiday does not make it on the shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaid, and that brings us to our assignment for next week. It is streaming roulette week. So Holiday, even though it should be, is not a genre that is on our little streaming roulette wheel. So we're doing something a little bit different this week. I have a list from Good Housekeeping of the 65 best Christmas movies, and it has streaming information for all of them, for the most part. The ones I've seen on here. Watch us get one that doesn't have streaming information. So then I also have a random number generator. I have 1 through 6. 1 is the minimum, 65 is the maximum. So we're going to spin that 3 times and then pick the best out of that. So without any further ado, here comes the first spin. Number 61. Of course it would be low on the list. Can't get one of the higher ups. Ernest Saves Christmas.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I almost watched this when I was on vacation not that long ago.
Yeah. Ernest Saves Christmas. That's going to be available on IMDb TV and Disney Plus because they own everything now. Jesus Christ. Actually, I think they always owned it, though. Is directed by John R. Cherry III, written by Ed Turner and B. Klein, starring Jim Varney, Douglas Seal, Oliver Clark, and Noel Parker. Ernest helps Santa Claus as he searches for his successor. It's a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Does not have a Metacritic score of 44 and it's an hour 35 minutes. So that is our first Ernest Saves Christmas. Here comes spin number 2. Number 8. Ooh. Hold while I scroll. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, the animated one from 2018 with Benedict Cumberbatch. Which
I haven't seen
that's
this
one
yet.
thing that's one thing that pissed me off about this list is that they have this above the Jim Carrey one.
How dare they?
So this list is not accurate. So that is going to be available on Amazon Prime, directed by Yarrow Cheney and Scott Mosier. It's written by Michael LeSueur, Tommy Swerdlow, and based on Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Cameron Seeley, Rashida Jones, and Pharrell Williams. 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 51 Metacritic score, hour 25 minutes. So that is The Grinch. That is our second choice. And spin number 3. Number 30. Nice middle range.
I say middle, nice.
Oh, about the middle. Where are you? Number 30. Jingle all the way. So we gotta
I guess
spin
I know
again.
what we're doing.
40. A little lower. Not too bad. Babes in Toyland. I have seen this. It's got Keanu Reeves in it.
Oh.
And Drew Barrymore. Directed by Clive Donner, written by Glenn McDonough, Paul Zindel, and written by... Oh, no, I already just said that. Starring Drew Barrymore, Richard Mulligan, Eileen Brennan, and Keanu Reeves. It is a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Does not have a Metacritic score, it looks like, and it is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and that's going to be available on Amazon and Apple TV.
So
I could not be any more indifferent about any of these.
right off the bat, I haven't seen any of these movies. I don't remember the last time I watched anything Ernest-wise. You know, it's probably been, a good 20 plus years since I've watched that. Mm-hmm. I have not watched The Grinch, mainly because I just didn't care for it when it came out. But I'm not against watching that. And also, I do love Keanu. I do love that man. And Drew Barrymore. So I'm not against watching that one either. So, honestly, I think Grinch number 1, Babes 2, and Ernest 3 for me. You tell me what your spicy little brain wants.
I'm pretty much... Babes 1, Grinch 2.
Okay. Have you
Ernest
seen The
3.
Grinch?
I have seen The Grinch. I could be just bitter that this is...
Not the
this
Jim Carrey
list
one?
makes it, it makes it higher than the Jim Carrey one. I'm going to let you pick.
Let's go Babes.
Babes? Are you sure?
What's the holiday season without a little Keanu?
That's true, but it is 2 hours and 20 minutes. Also, I didn't read the synopsis for this or The Grinch, but a young girl wakes up in the realm of Toyland where she teams up with her family and friends to overthrow an evil villain named Barnaby. Let's see. It's a reinterpretation of the classic Christmas tale starring Keanu Reeves. So yeah, I guess it is a Christmas tale. I don't remember it being a Christmas tale, but if Good Housekeeping is telling us it is a Christmas tale, who are we to judge?
Exactly.
So yeah, we can watch that if you want. I'm a little wary about the 2 hour 20-minute runtime.
It is a TV movie, so it was probably like a couple episodes or something like that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Now I'm leaning more towards The Grinch, but I'm going to let you make the last decision.
Let's do... Wait, did you see Babes? Did you say that?
I have seen Babes. It's
Oh.
been like 20 years since I've seen Babes in Toyland. I've seen all but Ernest Saves Christmas and don't really care to see Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah. Shit. I think I want to still lean Babes, honestly.
Okay.
It's something different, at least.
Something different. A young girl wakes up in the realm of Toyland where she teams up with her family and friends to overthrow the evil villain Barnaby. That is on Amazon Prime, and I believe I said Apple TV as well. It doesn't say Apple TV Plus. It just says Apple TV.
Disney Plus.
So that Disney Plus, Jesus, Disney owns fucking everything.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was for Ernest. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, geez. I was about to just shit myself right there. So yeah, Babes in Toyland, I guess, is our assignment for next week. I watched this a lot when I was a kid, not because it was my choice.
Yeah.
A lot of my family and my friends wanted to watch it for some reason. I don't remember particularly liking it, but we'll see. Who knows?
We shall see.
New from Orion Home Video.
Why is Mary marrying this terrible old Barnaby instead of his friend?
Because Barnaby bought the mortgage on her mother's house and said he'd throw them all out in the street if she didn't.
There's trouble in Toyland.
Dear friends and neighbors, as justice of the peace of Toyland, it falls within my power to join this handsome couple. Well, anyway, this couple in matrimony.
The wicked Barnaby Barnacle wants the beautiful Mary Contrary to be his bride.
Barnaby Barnacle, do you take Mary here to be your bride, to have and protect as long as you both shall live?
I do. I absolutely, yes, I do.
In that case...
She doesn't love him. She loves Jack. And she really shouldn't be marrying you.
So, Babes in Toyland, that is our assignment for next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review, Twitter, Keystone_film, Facebook, Keystone Film Review, YouTube, Keystone Film Review, TikTok, Keystone Film Review, and on Letterboxd, I am Mike, KFR.
And I am Glenn, KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch Keanu kick some evil Barnaby ass.
Watch out, Barnaby, because here I come. Whoa.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Ho, 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 ho.